Hello guys, this is Ozcan Adabük. Now in this video I'm going to talk about some structures in C#. I want to talk about first arrays, then I'm going to talk about array lists, then we're going to have an introduction to normal lists, generic lists. First up, arrays. Arrays are similar to Java. After you create an array, the size cannot be changed. The values in an array must be all the same data type. And arrays can be multidimensional, and just like in many other languages, the indices begin at 0. And if you want to declare an array, here's the syntax for it. So you need to use, first you add the type of the array, then use square brackets, then you name your array and use the keywords to create the size for it. Now this array is going to create this piece of code is going to create an array with size 4, and you can fill in the you can start adding values to this array by accessing its indexes. So for example, the first element is going to be 3, the second element is going to be 1. So this is one way to do this. Another way to do it, you can actually define enter the array elements in declaration. So to do that, you can use curly braces, and you can add the values here. Right. So this is one way to do it. The second way to do it is here. The first one, integer int array. So I'm going to comment these so you can still see them later and get back to them. Okay. Now, if you want to go through an array, you need to loop through it. Then you can use a regular for loop, just like in Java. And you have to define an index to go through the loop, and you can decide where to start. In this case, I'm going to start from 0. And now if I want to go through the whole size of this array, then I need to get to the size of this array, which is a field in this array called length. We can just print out the array. Console.writeLine. A read key function, so the program will stop once you run it. We had an error here. I should be less than int array.length. So as you can see, it will print out. Now, arrays are good if you know the size of the elements, size of the array, if you know the number of your elements. But let's say you need to implement something that actually is that you don't know the size of the structure, such as a shopping cart. Let's say you have a shopping cart and your customer keeps adding stuff to this, then you might want to use array lists. And array lists are actually under the system.collections. You can see here you have array lists. You have some other things such as dictionaries, hash tables. These are queues, sorted lists, stack, this type of data structures. And collections are similar to arrays but they enable you to store more than one object in a single variable. Most collections have add, remove, and clear methods, and they can grow dynamically using these add methods. Now we can use an array list to implement something that is a little bit more dynamic. So in order to do that, array lists. Oh, right now it's not going to because we don't have the collections namespace using system.collections. Now we can use the array list. Let's say my list, and now this creates an array list object, and you can start adding stuff to this object. My list dot using the add function. We can add 1, then we can add 2, 5, right? And then you can print out, we can print out this using a for each array. You can use a regular array or for each array. I'm gonna go for each this time. Integer in. Now let's comment out the array. So I'm just gonna run the array list and let's see what happens. Right, as you can see, 1, 2, 5, it will print them out without a problem. However, the array lists, if you look at them, it doesn't have a specific type. It has an object type, which is the base type in C#. If you try to add a string to this, such as, let's say, my name, then you will get a different, then this is going to cause a problem. You see, now we got an invalid cast exception because we're trying to use an integer. This tried to be parsed into integer, but it's not gonna parse. It's not gonna work that way. So this is where the lists come into play. Now, array lists is okay if you are not concerned about the types. If you want to keep different types in a list, in an array list, that's fine. But if you want to use more strict typed programming, then you need to use lists. So let's comment these and let's use the lists. Now lists are part of generics, system.collection.generics namespace, and they were introduced to .NET at the version .NET 2.0, and they is a way of dealing with weakly typed objects, such as, as we see here in the array list. With generics, you can write a code template that can be used in different scenarios, in different types. It also allows you to reuse the same template over and over for multiple data types without retyping and maintaining multiple versions of your code. There are many generic enabled objects and collections are already in the .NET framework. So let's check out some of them. System.collections.generics. Now you have a dictionary again. These are interfaces, some of them. Some of the data structures you can use: linked lists, linked list node, lists, which we're going to be using. You have queues, sorted list, stack. These ones are different than the collection ones, because now you can actually enforce strict typing, these ones. So if you want to create a new list, then you need to add a type for it. In this case, I'm going to add an integer type. Okay, and I'm going to call it my list, new list integer. And now let's start adding some items. Now let's print these out. Four, 3, 1. Yes. Let's see what happens if you try to add a string. We get a compiler error, and this error cannot convert from string to integer, and the list integer at int has some invalid arguments, meaning it's not going to let you put in a string, which is a safer way to program. Now let's talk about the generics in general. Let's create an example for it. Okay, for example, if you were to create a class, let's say pairs, class pairs pair. Okay. Actually, I'm going to create a second video for this, because otherwise it's going to be too long. Watch for the next video. See you in the next video. Thank you.